introduce you once again. Jerry Kahiga is a national youth leader. And introduce the other panelists on my immediate right. Kuna Njima Castro, a political analyst. Karibu sana. Next to Njeri, we have Simon Tsuma, political strategist. And Mboto Hassan, communication strategist. Karibuni sana. This being the youth perspective, and it's the only opportunity we've had, no, I think the second opportunity we've had to discuss Katiba at 15 with a youthful panel. And so that's where we'll start. And even as we continue looking at chapter 4 on the rights and fundamental freedoms, which is one of the biggest shifts from the previous constitution, because the issue has been that we gave ourselves a very progressive constitution, but 15 years later, we've not been able to adhere to it. And we're just wondering, okay, where is the failure? Is it simply by the political class, or is it an issue that Kenyans' level of understanding of the kind of document we give ourselves has been wanting? Castro.
Thank you, Fred, for having me, and good morning to our viewers. I think it is a better time that we are discussing Katiba at 15 when every person feels that any government or the government of the day does not respect the Katiba that we have. You know, we cannot have a written document in the name of Katiba, but in the sense of whatever tenets that it dictates, we are not adhering to it. So we have two issues here. We have a government that does not, or politicians that do not respect the Katiba, and we have a section of Kenyans who really do not want to understand what this Katiba means. And when I say these Kenyans does not want to understand what this Katiba means, it is that we are supporting these politicians blindly. Whether they are adhering to the Constitution or they are not adhering to the Constitution, we have actually impeded our loyalty to them blindly without actually understanding the rights and freedoms that are entrenched to this Katiba for us. And I'm criticizing such kind of Kenyans because they are the people who have defended this manipulation, they have defended this impunity of us not adhering to the Constitution fully. And it comes now to the role of the government to enforce this Katiba. One, by the police, who should defend this Katiba, enforce this Katiba and the rules and regulations that have been set and the guidelines. Also by the bills of parliament that have been passed through to enforce it fully. And I say so because such an organ or an agency that is part of the government, that is has the responsibility of enforcing this Katiba, has been hijacked by the politician. And I say hijacked by the politician because the parliament, which also should legislate, should oversight the implementation of this Katiba, is one of that government agency or arm of government that has actually diverted and deviated from implementing this Katiba fully. One failure of the government and the arm of the government, legislative arm of the government, is they have actually left this Katiba to be implemented, to be oversighted, and to be dictated by the legislative, which the legislative have carved their way and manipulating their way to carving and not respecting even the court orders and not respecting some of the articles. And I'm saying this because if they have to respect, they have to respect it selectively. Okay. They choose, they are choosing this, how they will respect this constitution. And the government or the parliament is not holding them into account. So we have a failure as Kenyans, we have a failure as the elected leaders, and also the president, who has taken advantage of it, not the parliament holding him accountable, and of course Kenyans supporting him blindly and of course impeding their loyalty to him.
Thank you, Castro, for that. And I would want to excuse the politicians this time around, because we know that the politicians have this tendency of having bad manners. In doing anything they want, they'll pursue their interests, Tsuma, at whatever cost. But Chapter 1 or Article 1 of this Constitution on sovereignty of the people, Chapter 1, sovereignty of the people and supremacy of this Constitution, gives all the powers, all the sovereign power to the people. What happens when the people do not have a proper understanding of this Constitution? Are they able to exercise their power properly? And 15 years later, isn't that the biggest problem we have? That the sovereign power, the people who hold the sovereign power, still do not understand what kind of document we have?
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity. And I wish to agree with your statements that the sovereign power belongs to the people. And for many, many times you have been blaming the politicians, but the common mwanachi does not understand what Katiba entails. And that is the biggest problem. Mwanachi normally depends on the information that is being availed by the politicians. Now, that is where the rain started beating us. It is the responsibility of every Kenyan to make sure that he is equipped with the information that is entailed in the Katiba for you to defend your rights. Because you cannot defend your rights if you don't know what is entailed in that Katiba. And if you go to mashinani, you will realize most people, they fully depend on politicians. And as a nation, if you fully depend on politicians for information, then you are doomed from that particular point. So this is a clarion call as we celebrate Katiba at 15. It's a clarion call for all citizens of this country to make sure that they are equipped and they are aware of what the Katiba is entailed for. That is the first step that you have been missing for all these 15 years. Yes. And I feel like if we can be in a position to turn around that perspective, then country Kenya will be moving towards the right direction.
All right. Mboto Hassan, I would want to also excuse another group. That's the older generation. Of course, they have hangovers of the older constitution, the feared authority and stuff like that. But any 30-year-old right now was 15 years old when this constitution was passed.